Alright, this is going to be a short video on the difference between a repair crimper and a production crimper. Yes, these crimpers are ratcheting and they do say Delphi. Their purpose is for repair, small time use, not for building an entire harness. And here I'm going to show you why. Right here's the crimp information sheet that comes from Delphi. This is actually their standards on the crimp, core crimp height, core crimp width. Okay, so that copper core has to be crimped at that height and width with this terminal for it to be considered a production solderless crimp. Otherwise, if you're using this, you would have to solder every terminal, and that's not a good thing to do because eventually vibration can cause breakage. So what we're going to do is you actually have to use two different crimpers to crimp this terminal, a 280 crimper for the core and then a 480 for the seal. So we're going to crimp this with the repair crimper and see how it does. Doesn't do too bad, and we might be able to even step it down a notch to try to tighten it up a little bit, but it's still not going to be enough. After we measure it, I can guarantee that. So we're going to crimp the seal. And you have to, it'll warp the terminal a little bit because it doesn't have a terminal locator. So as you can see at the back of that terminal, there's not much of an indentation there, and it didn't actually crimp the whole width of the core wings there. So we're going to set that one down right there. And then now we're going to crimp a terminal with this production hand crimper. The difference between this and these is actually these two together to crimp that one terminal is going to cost you about $160, $200 or so. This crimper is $400. Okay, there is an immense difference in cost, and there's a reason why. So we're going to put the terminal in there and go ahead and get it started. We're going to take our 10 gauge wire, we're going to get it in there, and you have to work with the seal a little bit on this application. As you can see, it has a terminal locator to keep the terminal from warping or twisting. So then we're going to finish our crimp. This die set, or this hand frame, actually exerts 1.2 metric tons at the crimping face there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to measure the crimp height and width and compare it to the chart that we have here that's supplied by Delphi. This tool right here is specific for, it's not just your regular digital dial caliper, it's actually specific for measuring the crimp height and width. It has the machined area there for that. So we're going to turn this on, and this is all in millimeters here. So here's the repair crimped terminal, and we're going to measure the crimp height, and as you can see, we're at 3.14. The core crimp height on Delphi sheet for 5.0 is 2.30. As you can see, we are way out from that. So now let's measure the width, and it's 3.83, and you can see that the width is too tight. It is 4.10 is what it's supposed to be. And we even crimped this under the 12 gauge setting on the repair crimpers here, so to try to tighten it up a little bit and help out. So now we're going to measure what we crimped with our production crimper, and as you can see, the indentation on the back is actually a perfect crimp. That is actually what you would see coming from an electric press in a factory. So let's measure the core crimp height. We are at, let's get this here, get it to the proper place in the terminal, 2.33, and it's supposed to be 2.30, and as you can see, the tolerance on it is 0.05, so we're still well within tolerance. And the core crimp width is 4.15, which the tolerance for that is 0.10. And here's all those measurements. So as you can see, this crimper actually gets the exact crimp that Delphi calls for. As stated before, these are for repair use only. They are not for producing harnesses that a company should be using to produce, multiple harnesses in a year to sell somebody. This is, as you can see, far, far, far superior to what you get with a repair crimper. So thanks for watching. We'll get some longer videos up. This was just a short one because I've already had a lot of questions. So let me know what you think and we'll go from there. Thank you.